Hey guys! So we're staying at La Playa Grande, which is this beautiful, nearly private beach, but it can be a little expensive. And then if you look over behind me, that's Tamarindo Beach, which is much more popular. And it's got its own benefits. And we're gonna compare both of them and see which one we like better. So let's go check it out. La Playa Grande Beach is very close to Tamarindo, but if you see, there's this little inlet that blocks it. And at high tide, there's little boats that you can take to get across from either side that are a couple of bucks. But at low tide, like it is now, it looks like we can just walk straight across it. So we're gonna go do that, and just think when you guys are at La Playa Grande or Tamarindo and you wanna go to either one, make sure you look at your tides, because at low tide, I believe that we can cross it, and we will confirm that in a minute.
So it's confirmed you can walk from one side to the other. We are about an hour after low tide, but it was pretty easy, except for that some of the sand is really soft, so you'll sink up to the middle of your calf. So don't get too uncomfortable with that.
Behind me is Tamarindo Beach, which is popular for just about everyone. It's also on the Costa Rican backpack tour. And it just looks like a cool city. There's some nightlife and stuff like that. We're not gonna be here during night, but we're gonna go check it out in the day and tell you what we think about it.
Both sides have a lot of surf shops and surf schools and things like that, places where you can rent surfboards. So far this week, we haven't had much surf. We did get a nice little session in the first day we were here. Today it's kind of petered out and gotten smaller, but that hasn't stopped the popularity of surfing, or at least learning to surf here. I'm gonna have to give the points on this one to Playa Grande, because when you're around a bunch of people that don't know how to surf, it's a lot more dangerous than being around a lot of people who do. One thing about the time we were there is the surf was not raging. We had a couple of good morning sessions that we didn't record and just enjoyed, kind of kept it in our own repository. And I've seen pictures in all these different situations where the waves are really cranking there. I've also seen situations where that whole entire beach is covered up, like New Jersey in the summer. There's nowhere for you to lay. That's part of the reason why Tamarindo is what Tamarindo is, because it is built for the tourist trade. It is built for the backpackers who come in there in droves during the season. I backpacked a little bit when I was younger, and you run into the Europeans. That's on the European circuit.
And that actually makes a lot of sense, because one thing that I noticed comparing both of them was that Tamarindo was much more tight-knit. There's stores all along the road, there's restaurants, it's very easy to walk around. Unlike La Playa Grande, which there's a big national park, and then there's a bunch of like houses that are widespread, and there's a couple of restaurants here and there, but you really need a car to enjoy La Playa Grande. You don't necessarily need one for Tamarindo. And that made a lot of sense, and we did go there for a couple of different meals, did a little bit of shopping. Actually, one of the best meals that we had in the whole trip, probably the best, was out of the back of this van right here. And you guys are gonna have to wait for that one though. We are actually making another channel, Eater's Digest. That should be out in about a month. And then you guys get to learn a little bit more about that meal and why it was just so amazing.
So if you are into food, Eater's Digest, it'll be coming out soon. You can look for Brendan's smiling face on the cover photo. But we were there for adventure and nature for the most part, and so we wanted to get back over to La Playa Grande. I love this place. We were there for my birthday, and that's why all my family got together, and it was super enjoyable. And they asked me what I wanted to do on my birthday, and I said, hey, I want to do a beach cleanup. So we went out and got to do a beach cleanup, and the beaches here are beautiful. There's trees everywhere.
Yeah, and it really is so much less crowded. Even in the off season, there was hardly anyone on those beaches, and that's why I gotta give them a point for that. It really made it so much more enjoyable.
Here we are at this beautiful, nearly private beach near our Airbnb close to Tamarindo in Costa Rica, and it's gorgeous. I mean, you got the mountains over here in the background. Like there's like hardly anyone on this beach at all, and it's like 9 o'clock.
And I will agree with Dad that it was a little bit of a safer surf because there were less people, specifically the ones who don't have a whole lot of experience. But I actually think that the surf may have been a little bit better.
And not evidenced by this footage that you're seeing right now. It was pretty small when we decided we were going to record because we didn't really have a very secure way of bringing the GoPros out. So there were a couple of mornings where we went out and it was a little bit overhead. And the form on the waves there, because of the way that the beach is built, was beautiful. But the best part was, I love when I get my whole family around. We enjoyed just playing around, and the water was at least moderately cool.
And one of the benefits of not having all of those buildings and streets and all this infrastructure is that there's room for nature. And luckily we did rent a car, so we were able to go into the national park, and it's so beautiful. There's miles and miles of beach, of course, but there's also this like forest where there's a bunch of cool animals and maybe even crocodiles.
We're going to the black sand beach near Playa Grande, and apparently this is where you park, right outside the entrance to the Parque Nacional Marina Las Huelas. And make sure you look out for crocodiles.
One of the best things about that area, I would say, is the nature. There's howler monkeys making their noise in the distance. You heard the crocodiles close by, so you were always like on alert, especially when you're there with kids. There's just great hiking, there's great beaches. The sunset, which you'll see right at the end of this video, is from there, and it is top notch.
Yeah, it really is amazing. And there's also some really cool marine life, not only saltwater crocodiles, which I gotta be honest, I'm glad we did not see, because it would have been pretty close, I think. But there were some sea stars, and then we actually got to talk to one of the park rangers there, which is a really cool experience, and found out that it's one of the most important areas in Costa Rica for leatherback sea turtle nesting. And it's a very rare sea turtle species. It's endangered, and as being park rangers, it's really important, and I hope to one day go there and see it for ourselves.
And as somebody who does turtle walks, I heard that they do turtle walks there from, I believe it was Antonio, and I would like to do that sometime, especially the leatherbacks. They're pretty cool. One of the things that you have to hike to when you get to the national park is the black sand beach. It was beautiful. There were all these like rocky outcroppings that had different crustaceans and things trapped in them, and we got to look for some shells and just spend a really nice time there.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, you really can't talk about Costa Rica, specifically the West Coast, without talking about their sunsets. And we were not disappointed whatsoever. This is actually going to go a point for both, because it really doesn't matter which side you are, it's really not that far away. You're both going to get some amazing sunsets, and we had some really beautiful sunsets. So we hope you enjoy this footage.
Right behind me is where we're staying, and then if you come right down this little road, there's the beach. And this is amazing. Right now we're gonna go check and see what the sunset looks like. Now we are on the West Coast, so it should be a really nice sunset. I'm really looking forward to it. Let's go check it out.
Thank you guys for watching all the way to this point. I wanted to recap that this was just a wonderful trip. Family and nature and adventure. Costa Rica is definitely worth going to, but you need a score. So I'm going to update the score a little bit here for you, and I get to be the winner. La Playa Grande. La Playa Grande is a nature lover's paradise. It gets points for safer surfing. It has a little bit better and more diverse surfing. It gets less crowds. It's got more nature, and it's got what I think are better sunsets.
I don't know. I think the sunsets are probably pretty equally, though we did spend most of our time in La Playa Grande, so we can't necessarily say that. But sunsets are beautiful no matter which one you choose. I will say that it kind of depends on the type of vacation you want, right? If you're looking for that nature, that escape, definitely La Playa Grande is your better option. If you want more of a budget, walk around, enjoy the culture and the restaurants and stuff like that, then Tamarindo is your better option. Also, that inlet you can just walk across, so it really doesn't matter. So you decide, but this was our score, 5-3 in favor of La Playa Grande.
And if you guys have watched us much, you know that sometimes we are the hostile backpackers who are like enjoying the nightlife and trying to do food tours for our other channel and all those good fun things. And then sometimes we're just we would rather chill and see some nature and plant some trees or do a beach cleanup like we did here. And then it's more of a Playa Grande. We rented a really, really nice Airbnb with a pool and everything. One of the most high-end, I would say, trips that we've done in a while. But thanks you guys for watching. We are glad to be back. I know it's been a little while since we've put out a video, but we are going to have them out every week from now until the world tour. And during the world tour, we'll probably have 2 out a week. So you might as well get subscribed now. I would love to see you guys more.
Absolutely, and while you're at it, go ahead and go to Eater's Digest. We'll have a link at the bottom. There's not really much developed at that point, but if you want to go ahead and subscribe, that way you're ready for our next food video. We really appreciate that, and I hope you find yourself in Costa Rica soon. And as always, find yourself on the journey.